Well, welcome to all of you. Let me say a few words about our speaker. Today we have with us Reverend Dr. Jin Sup Song. Dr. Song has a Master of Divinity degree from Methodist Theological Seminary and his Doctor of Ministry degree from the Fuller School of Intercultural Studies. And he is a missionary with the Korean Methodist Church. Dr. Song was founding missionary of Methodism in Cambodia. And that's what he's going to talk to us about today. He arrived in Phnom Penh in June of 1993 and spent 20 years there leading a very important and unusual mission. He was the first Methodist missionary there, but also then Methodists from other countries started sending missionaries. And so Dr. Song had been supervising a pan-Methodist mission that then launches a church in Cambodia right after a lot of strife and genocide, as you all know, the sad history of Cambodia in the late 20th century. His mission has involved church planting, development programs, the founding of a Bible school, and all done in the multi-ethnic pan-Methodist framework, which I'm sure we'll be happy to ask you about the difficulties, the challenges, and excitement of working in such a manner. Dr. Song is here in the Boston area writing up the history of the mission. And so we have a number of mission historians in here who know how important it is to have you as the founder of a mission writing down your own reflections on your furlough year. So please join me in welcoming Dr. Song.
Hello everyone. I'm so glad to be here with you this afternoon. It is my great honor and privilege for me. Thanks to Dr. Daniel Robert and CSCM organized such kind of wonderful seminar for me to share. One of great joy in my life is to share about mission in Cambodia since I love Cambodia. And I think it is a wonderful opportunity for me to share about mission in Cambodia. I hope you don't have much difficulty in understanding my English. English is my third language, actually. I speak and preach, teach in Cambodian. Actually, I am one of the most fluent speakers in Cambodia among whole Korea. So I used to give verbal translation to my prime minister or higher rank from South Korean visit to Cambodia, and I gave verbal translation to the king in Cambodia. So I think Cambodia is like my native language right now, and I don't have much opportunity to speak or share in English so far. So I'm a bit nervous in terms of language matter, and also it is too cold weather for me. You know, they say Phnom Penh temperature is around 100 degrees, 37, 38 degrees Celsius. So annual average temperature is 85. So all year long I sweat, wet. I like it. But when I came to Boston, it's too cold, long winter. I like a very easy and comfortable life in the States, but actually I don't like the winter cold. Anyway, I appreciate to Dr. Dema and School of Theology invite me as a visiting scholar to be here. After I served in Cambodia for 20 years, my agency allowed me to take 1 year leave. So where I go, And last year, I have two daughters, and the first daughter admitted to the Golden College in Boston. So I decided to follow her to come here to be with her for 1 year. And I'm enjoying my life in the States for 6 months already. And I'm preparing, packing now to go back to Cambodia this coming August. I want to go back soon as possible. I started and introduced. I'm writing about the history of Methodist Church in Cambodia. Cambodia is very poor in terms of Christian literature, like church history. We cannot find any material. So I'm the first one who take a lead for Methodist Church in Cambodia. I feel responsibility to write down something for locals, and they can continue to write in the later. Have you heard about Cambodia? Have you known Cambodia? What do you remind of when you hear the word of Cambodia?
War.
Word. Word, yeah.
Killing field.
Killing field, yeah, it's such kind of same thing. I would like to introduce two typical things that represent Cambodia. You have to know two things to understand about Cambodia. The one is Angkor Temple, the other is Killing Field. Angkor Temple, Angkor Wat, it is a Hindu temple built by Cambodia in 11th and 12th century. It is not a simple structure of religion. It's a huge religious site scattered around few hundred kilometers. So it's a huge religious structure. The main structure we call Angkor Temple is a Hindu temple, and there in 11th, 12th century under the Empire of Khmer. In the Middle Ages, Empire of Khmer is the strongest and biggest empire in all of the world. The population of capital city at the time, 11th century, was 1 million people. Can you imagine it? 11th century, there was a city, Angkor Thom, was the capital city. The population was 1 million. At the time, Empire of Khmer occupied most of Indochina Peninsula. It was a quite big empire at that time. They brought their other nationality, bring them come to build for Angkor Temple. So when they count 7 wonders, 7 mysteries of structure all over the world, they include Angkor Temple among it. So we can see the Angkor Temple is one of the structures that represent Cambodia. Unfortunately, Empire of Khmer was start to decline after completion of Angkor Temple in 14th century. So when we want to know about Cambodia, we have to know about Angkor Temple, and we better visit to Angkor Temple only. The second one is Killing Field. I think most of you know and heard about Killing Field. It's one of the most notorious genocidal incidents that happened in Cambodia during 1975 to 1979. Exactly 3 years, 8 months, 20 days by Khmer Rouge. led by Mr. Pol Pot. They say 3 million people were killed out of 7 million at the time. Actually, it was happened only 40 years ago, 35 to 40 years ago, not too long. And most of intellectuals were killed. Half of them were killed, and everything was collapsed. It was the worst time in Cambodian history. I think two things can be explained about Cambodia. I think Cambodia may not a good place for businessmen to invest. The market is too small, and it's not good for students to study because the system is not yet standard yet. And tourists, I think it's worth to visit once in your life, but infrastructure or safety is not guaranteed yet. But I think Cambodia is one of the best place, best field for the mission of God. So I challenge you, I think most of you have an interest on mission of God. So I encourage you to visit Cambodia once to feel personally what I share this afternoon to you. Let's check about the mission history, church history in Cambodia briefly. The first Protestant missionary to Cambodia came to Cambodia in 1923. So this is 91 years. We held 90-year anniversary last year. All the groups and mission agents gathered together to celebrate last year. So 91 years ago, first missionary sent by Christian and Missionary Alliance, United States, near Boston, New York. They sent first missionary named Carman to Cambodia. And CNMA sent many faithful missionaries to Cambodia, and they do their mission work. When they collect their result, mission work for around 40 years in 1970, they were so sad because of the result was so poor. After 40 years ministry, there were only less than a few thousand Christians in Cambodia. So tough, so difficult to do mission work in Cambodia. One of the leaders of CNMA wrote in his letter that Cambodia is one of the most difficult fields for mission of God except Islam country. So we can imagine how difficult they face in their ministry. But there was a short-term revival and church growth in Cambodia for 5 years, from 1970 to 1975. Actually, at the time, 5 years, they called Cambodian Civil War. So war is still there, but God opened the door for gospel. So many missionaries like Stanley Mooneyham, who was the chair of the World Vision, came to Cambodia, Phnom Penh, and do a big crusade. So 100,000 people come to Christ at the time. They evaluate that during 5 years ministry, they collect much more reserve souls than what CMA done for 40 years, the last 40 years. So praise the Lord that God have done wonderful things for 5 years. Unfortunately, 1975, killing field war started. So everything is turned down to zero. So in Cambodian history, they call 1975 is year zero. So everything is going to zero. Like several thousand, almost 10,000 Christians in Phnom Penh in 1975. But when killing field was started, they have to scatter to the refugee camp, and most of them were killed by communist regime. After 4 years of killing fear, the close and the difficult situation kept going on since Vietnamese communist regime controlled Cambodia until 1990. So 15 years is no freedom at all for religion. 1990, Cambodian government just allowed local Christians to have worship service. And 1993, Cambodian new government was formed and new constitution was declared and welcomed all the missionaries from foreign countries to come and do mission work. So when I went to Cambodia for the first time, 1993, it is the first year that government opened the door and welcomed all the missionaries. So if we just summarize 90 years of church history in Cambodia, it was very tough, very difficult. But when God opened the door in 1993 until this year, 20 years already, do you know what happened in Cambodia for 20 years when I served in Cambodia? When I went to Cambodia for the first time in 1993, there were less than 100 congregations, and total Christian is 10,000 in whole Cambodia. 10,000, most of them come from refugee camp near Thai border, not they stay in Cambodia. So in 1990, they say maybe few hundred Christians in Cambodia, and UN, United Nations, prepared the general election. So they repatriate many Cambodians who live in Thai border, refugee camp, back to Cambodia. And many of them were Christians. So population of Christianity is increased until 10,000 in 1993. And maybe 3 or 4 years ago, they do survey and they say 2,000 congregation and 200,000 Christians in Cambodia for 20 years ministry. There are 24 cities and provinces in Cambodia, and gospel and churches go into all 24 cities and provinces. In Cambodian history, it never ever happened, such kind of flourishing of gospel so far. So I just summarized, first 40 years very tough, but God opened for 5 years. By the grace of the Lord, they have the revival, and church grows very fast. And for 15 years, it's very tough, like the communist regime. After that, recently, for 20 years, God opened the door again, and they used called Cambodia is one of the place that church grow most fastest in the world. How does it can be happen? I used to introduce Cambodia as one of the most well-prepared country for the mission of God in all of the world. Why do I say like this? I have several evidence for that. The first, Cambodia is a country that least evangelized. The percentage of Christianity in Cambodia is approximately 1.5%. 200,000 Christians out of 15 million. So 1.5 Christian, I think is not very high. It's still low. We can count it one of the least evangelized countries. The second, Cambodian government allow and give the almost perfect freedom to all the missionaries come to serve without any restriction or persecution at all. We know that most of the least evangelized country, mainly it is an Islam country or communist country. As a missionary, we cannot go and we cannot reveal ourselves as a missionary and do the missional opening. We cannot do that. But in Cambodia, it is one of the least evangelized country with freedom. Can you imagine that? The third, Cambodia is undeveloped poor country. GDP, gross domestic product per capita, is around 1,000. 5 years ago, they say $400. They achieved economic growth very fast. Last year, they say $1,000. But it is very low now. And most of them, they live under absolute poverty line. And most of them, they spend less than $1 for their life per day. So tough in their life. Government cannot care for people well, since government have money. And the Cambodian people, they don't know how to solve their problem and their needs. How? They don't know. It is a sad story for the Cambodian people, but for the mission agents or missionaries, supplier is a great opportunity, chance to approach to them. So we can show the love of God to them with the gospel. It's very effective. So many Cambodians come to Christ with many regions right now. The fourth region that I call Cambodia is one of the most well-experienced mission field is that 50% of Cambodian is below 20 years old. Cambodia is a very young country. After the long-term civil war, genocidal incident, so a lot of youth and like baby booms coming out. When we go to the village, 200, 300 children that don't know what to do, anything, nothing to do, they come and welcome all the mission teams in every village. For the elderly people, it's very difficult to share the gospel. When we share the gospel to the elderly people, many of them they accept Jesus Christ, but not as a savior, as one more God. Because they have 20, 30 gods already in their mind. So they just top one more. After they commit themselves to the Christ, they ask us whether I can go to pagoda. So they don't want to leave from the Buddhism and pagoda. They want to stick to the Buddhism, then they want to follow Christianity. So it's very difficult to make them as a sincere disciple of Christ. But as for the youth and children, it's different story. They don't have any strong bondage to the Buddhism yet. And they want to learn about computer skills, languages, music, or sports. And there is no any community center or youth center run by government or social any facility. That's why churches or mission agencies reorganize for the schools, kindergarten, language school, vocational school, afternoon class school, or art or sports. So many of youth and children, they come to learn and they heard about gospel of Christ and they become a member of the church. That's why when we go to church in Cambodia right now, 70% of them are youth and children. Very few of them are elderly people. That's why I lead a denomination is difficult because in terms of offering, it's a local contribution, it's very still low compared to the number. But I think the future of Cambodian church is very bright. Maybe 10 or 20 years later, our ministry, all the missionary concentrate focus to the youth and children right now, are successful and have a good result. Maybe 10 to 20 years, we can transform the Cambodian whole society into the gospel or to the Jesus Christ. I explained 4 things about Cambodian situation in terms of mission in Cambodia. How do you think? I attend many convention or conference, mission conference, and I heard about the situation of each country and each places. But I never found any other country that better situation in Cambodia so far. That's why I think Cambodia is one of the most well-prepared mission field in the world. According to the Gospel of John, chapter 4, verse 35, Jesus said, I tell you, open your eyes and look at the field. There are reap for harvest. The fields are already white. But I think all the fields not reap for harvest yet. So different fields are there. Like Muslim or communist country, we can compare to it's still winter, and we cannot do anything. We just go and pray. But some fields in spring, maybe they start digging or plowing. But in Cambodia, it's in autumn for harvest. The best time for harvest is coming to Cambodia. And so many missionaries and mission agents come to Cambodia right now, and they do their harvest work in Cambodia. That's why church in Cambodia is planted all over Cambodia, and Christianity is growing very fast. Now I want to share about my ministry in Cambodia. I am the first Methodist missionary to Cambodia through Korean Methodist Church. Actually, many other denominations, they embarked mission in Cambodia since 1970 in times of healing field. But I don't know why. The Methodist denomination is one of the major denominations, but they didn't involve at all before. And I went there in Cambodia in 1993, and I learned Cambodian. Cambodian, they have their own language. It's very difficult to learn. Its alphabet is almost 100, so you have to spend at least 3 months to remember all the alphabet. And pronunciation is very difficult, so many foreign missionaries gave up to learn Cambodian because they easily get English translator among the Cambodians. But for me, I think God gave some gift and language, so I have no any problem in speaking Cambodian. But actually, when I went to Cambodia for the first time, there was no formal language school. So I never studied in the language school. I just learned from my friends, personally. So many new missionaries came to me and asked me, how can we speak Cambodian fluently? Can you share some tips about that? But actually, I don't know what I say because I didn't attend any language school, but I don't know how. But anyway, I can speak Cambodian right now. God opened the door for me to start a church plant. And in 1995, there were 7 churches with me. So I organized Methodist mission in Cambodia. So we registered the ministry officially. And at the time, it was the best time to plant the church. So many Christians came back from refugee camp and they have no churches. And they worship in their house. That's why we go to every village, we call them, get together as a small group and become one congregation. So in 1995, I have 7 churches, and next year 16 churches, next year 38 churches, and 51 churches. Year by year, the number of churches grow very fast. But most of our leaders are lay. They didn't go to any formal training, theological training. So I feel that for the strong church in Cambodia, I'd better establish some kind of institute to train pastors and leaders. So I established Cambodian Methodist Bible School in 1997 until now. I operated with other missionaries. So when I been to Cambodia, I learned Cambodian and I concentrate on church planting, and I'm doing the Bible school ministry. Later on, missionary sent by Swiss France Methodist Church, missionary sent by UMC, USA, and Singapore Methodist Church sent missionary. Malaysian Methodist Church sent missionary to Cambodia. So there are 4 or 5 foreign Methodist agencies start their own work. Praise the Lord, Holy Spirit worked among us, and all the missionaries gather together, and we discuss what do you do? What do you want to do? We do our work separately like this, or we better come together and work together to form only one Methodist church in Cambodia. So finally, we agreed that to work together jointly, and our goal is to form only one Methodist church in Cambodia. And mission agencies back home, they approve all the things. So the kind of joint ministry was done officially. Actually, they evaluate that joint ministry among 4 foreign Methodist agencies in Cambodia. It is the first case in World Methodist Mission history. Korean Methodist Church sent missionary to over 70 countries. And UMC in USA sent more country and more missionaries. It means wherever you go, there is a Methodist Church sent by Korean, Singapore, and USA. They do their own ministry. They establish Bible school separately, and they ordain. It's a different. It is a reality in other mission fields. But in Cambodia, the missionaries get together and work together to form one Methodist, indigenous Methodist church in Cambodia. That was our goal. And we have done a good job in terms of structure to form Methodist church in Cambodia so far. So, year 2003, we formed Methodist Mission officially, and year 2008, we formed Methodist Mission Conference. And last year, year 2013, we elect local mission superintendent. Mission superintendent is the position below bishop to take care of all the church and administration of one denomination. So that I was hold that position for many years, and last year we decided to elect local leader to be their own church leader. So last September, in the 5th Methodist annual session, we do all the election process, and we choose one Cambodian pastor, elder pastor, to be a mission superintendent. Right now, he is the leader of the Methodist Church in Cambodia and lead his own church with other Cambodian pastors. Right now, there are 155 churches in whole of the Cambodia, and the Methodist Church in Cambodia. And average worshiper every Sunday is around 7,000 members right now. When I went to Cambodia in 1993, I went with my wife. My wife at the time was 6 weeks in pregnancy, the first baby. And we hadn't known anything about Cambodia at that time. Cambodia has a very strong relationship with the North Korean government. Sihanouk is a king of Cambodia. Have a good relationship with Kim Il-sung, was a former leader in North Korea. So two countries have a strong bondage together. So South Korean government prohibit South Korean visit Cambodia. So we have no any chance to get any information about Cambodia in Korea. So we didn't know anything about Cambodia, but got callers and opened the door for us. We went to the Cambodia in 1993. The situation was terrible. The power supply only 1 hour. Electricity is only 1 hour. And city water system is never supplied for 30 years. And weather is so hot, and gun shooting, fighting day and night here and there. And we cannot find any Koreans or anybody to ask some help. So only most of us, we like duck in isolated place. When I been to Cambodia the next month, I got a disease, like malaria, and I almost died. We went through all the difficulties and sufferings, but God's grace is sufficient for us all the time. We can overcome all the difficulties, and we complete our ministry for 20 years until now. We believe that God has a great plan for Cambodia. That's why God made such kind of good situation in Cambodia. Like killing field. Killing field is a very sad story to the Cambodian and very tragic. But God used that kind of incident for his mission. Killing field happened by communists. They would try to make Cambodia as an earthly heaven in the world by communist theory, but they failed. But God used that failed plan of man for his mission. How? God changed the situation in Cambodia totally through the killing field. I mentioned that Cambodia is one of the most difficult places for mission. But killing field helped Cambodia to change as a new soil for gospel of Christ. Like Buddhism is a state religion in Cambodia, but they lost their foundation, their influence to the people through long-term civil war. And by killing field, many Cambodians, they have to flee to foreign countries. Many Cambodians came to United States. Like Long Beach in California is the place that most Cambodians live. And the second biggest community of Cambodian in the United States is Lowell and Lim. They count around 30,000, 40,000 Cambodians live in Lowell. I used to visit there to eat rice noodle soup that we miss. So many Cambodian supermarket and restaurant and like Cambodia. So many Cambodian there. So Cambodian who flew to foreign country, they accept Christ, become Christian. Not only that, but also some of them, they learn, they study at the seminary, become pastor, and they going back to Cambodia as a missionary with the love gift and support from the church in the United States. So right now, main leader of Christian church in Cambodia, they are those who come from outside. They were refugees, but they go back to their home country as a missionary. So if there was no killing field, maybe that kind of things cannot be happening. And I mentioned once again, there is a refugee camp. Around 4 years, 100,000 people live in refugee camp. And so many mission agencies went to there and do the social work with the church planting there. So many Cambodians converted as Christians. So we can see if there was no killing field in Cambodia, maybe Cambodia is one of the toughest country to do mission work until now. But like a long-term civil war and a killing field, make change Cambodian situation for the missionary ground. I think the field is ready, so I'm sure that all of you have a passion and interest on mission of God, and maybe you decide where to go. But if you don't decide yet, maybe you can consider Cambodia is one of the options. Cambodia need more workers for harvest. You can be a partner for the mission in Cambodia as a prayer. You can visit to Cambodia as a short-term mission trip team, or you can come for mission intern for 6 months and 1 year. We can provide some field that you can link, and you can teach anything you can, or you can just play with the children. Like one youth from Korea, he came to Cambodia for 6 months, and one village changed by him. So many youths and so many children came to church every day to play with him, to learn Korean, to learn guitar. So, like one youth can change the whole village. So that is a good testimony. I would like to share the prayer request in my conclusion. Please pray for political stability in Cambodia. Mr. Hun Sen is a prime minister for 30 years. It's a quite long time. And he publicly, he said that maybe I need to stand in this position for 3 terms more, and maybe 15 years more, for develop this country. Since he controlled the army and police, he came from soldiers, and in the position for 30 years. You know how strong he is in Cambodia. So nobody imagined that when he can be stepped down from that position. Last year, there was a general election to select new prime minister. Everybody surprised with that result. Opposition party won that election. It came too early. Nobody imagined it. But anyway, Hun Sen used a trick. At last, he declared that his party, his ruling party, won 51% of seat of parliament, and he still keep that position so far. But opposition party is come from. That's why they didn't negotiate after last year's election. So still political instability and conflict, and there will be some kind of political turmoil in the future, since Hun Sen have to be stepped down from the position. So how and what happened? So we pray for Cambodia in terms of political stability, and please pray for Cambodian church and Christians. It's very young, too young, and most of pastors is a first generation of the pastors, and they didn't have gone through any formal theological education like you, so they don't know how run the church, because the 70 years of church history is cut away, and they become a leader of a small group, and denomination ordained them as a pastor, so they can share the gospel, they can teach it in the small group, but they cannot do anything more. So the church cannot grow strongly, firmly. That is a weak point of the Cambodian church. So we have to pray for leadership development in Cambodia, for the pastors and lay leaders and members also. And pray for unity and joint ministry among the Christian missionary and agencies also. And the second Korean missionary went to Cambodia. Right now, there are 400 Korean missionary families. 400.
Wow.
There is a Korean Missionary Association. Those who registered is 400. If those who not registered, they may say 700, 800 Korean missionary family in Cambodia. And many missionaries come from other foreign countries in small mission fields. So you can imagine the ministry is duplicated, they confront and conflict. It is one of the weak points for mission in Cambodia. So how we can co-work and unite as God commanded us. So we have to pray for the mission leader, church leader to be united and do the effective ministry in Cambodia. And pray for all the ministry that focus on youth and children right now. Most of mission agents and missionaries focus on children and youth right now. So we hope that that ministry will be successful and bear much fruit to transform Cambodian society into Christianity in the next generation. And pray for Cambodian people who are suffering under poverty. It's very bad. So many widows, so many orphans, so many HIV victims, and many, many poor people there. So we do the community development, and we do our best to alleviate poverty with the government to help lift their livelihood standard. And that make Cambodian church stable in terms of finance and can be self-support church in the future also. Okay. That's all about I prepared this afternoon. Okay. Thank you for your presence and your listening. And may God bless you.
Well, if you don't mind, now's a good time for question and discussion.
Yes, please. Yes?
I've had a chance, I worked in Southeast Asia for a few years in Thailand, and I've only had the chance to visit Cambodia once,
Wow.
Phnom Penh.
Mm-hmm.
But I know one of the big issues, not just in Cambodia, but in Southeast Asia in general, is sex trafficking
Mm-hmm.
and slavery. And I was wondering how the Methodist Church, how over the time you've been there, y'all address that and how you ministry to that situation.
Yes, that is one of the topics that we concern. There is one organization that Methodist Church we run named CHAD, Community Health and Agricultural Development. So community health is that related medical service and also health care. And there are some missionaries related with healthcare ministry. So they do the seminar for the churches and pastors for the sex trafficking or healthcare ministry. And there are many NGOs related with that ministry. So when we have a conference or a seminar, we invite them to come and share about that topic also. With the government control, I think it's much better than before. And the economic growth in Cambodia is quite high and fast. That's why the situation is much better, improved than previous years. Yes?
So the Roman Catholic Church has a much longer history of mission in Cambodia, since going back to the 16th century. So I was just wondering, is that a similar story as what you described with the Protestant Church, and what's the relationship between Protestant and Catholic mission and churches in Cambodia today?
I wonder that the Catholic Church is not strong in Cambodia, and we wonder why. Cambodia was a French colony for 90 years, and Cambodia was independent from the France in 1953. So when first Protestant missionary went to Cambodia in 1923, so first 30 years is under French colony. When French colony was there, French government and Cambodian leader, they have a MOU. On that, they recognize only two religions. That is Buddhism and Catholic. That's why Protestant missionary under French colony was very difficult to do ministry. But we read the history of Roman Catholic. They didn't get much success in Cambodia, and they have to go through killing field with Protestant also, and all their ministry must be cut away from previous. So at this moment, it's only 0.3%, very few of them. But we can see their strong ministry in terms of social work. For the vocational school, it's a Don Bosco. It's one of the biggest vocational school in Phnom Penh, and they do a lot of handicap NGO or social service. So they strongly they concentrate on social work than the church ministry. Yes.
Thank you for sharing your experience with us. I wonder about the modernization process in Cambodia, and I wonder if there's any tension or conflict between traditional value and modern value, and if there's any generation gap between older people and younger people, and how Christianity is perceived by people. And you, as a non-white, a non-Western missionary, do you have any advantage or challenge to work in Cambodia?
Yes, Cambodia is a transitional period at this moment, and many Cambodians they keep moving to cities and foreign countries. One difficulties that we face that most of our churches located in village. The number of people, the population in village is reduced, and they go to city and foreign countries, Vietnam, Thailand, to get a job. Most of former communist countries that opened the door and changed their system as a market economy, Cambodia is one of the examples. Their economy was controlled by government, but they opened. And they changed it into market economy. So right now they know that if they have money, they can do everything. Money is God, their God. They can do anything for money and for riches. So very difficult situation, how we can introduce the unseen things like scripture or gospel. Actually, they don't care about it. Like HIV victims in Cambodia is a lot, and so we used to spread the gospel to the girls who engage. They say, if not, they have to die. Right now, they don't care about the time after die. So it is a reality in Cambodia. So all of them concerned on the money and how to be rich. So like modernization or materialism have a strong influence to Cambodia. With that, like immorality, corruption is another topic that we concern. So like youth and children, they raise on such kind of bad environment, so we concern them. So we try to help community, church to be a center of community, to form the community strongly, become a light and salt. Yes.
Well, thanks for your impressive presentation about Cambodian mission. I think you are a very historical person in Cambodian history because you are the first Methodist missionaries. My question is very basic, but I think it's important in history. Why did you go to Cambodia in 1993?
God called me as a missionary when I was freshman in the college. Actually, I studied economics, but I attended one conference led by a Korean pastor who lived in LA. He went to Korea and he led the conference that called those who commit to the missions. So I attended that conference and I gave my life the mission. For that, I continued to study seminary and college, and then I go to seminary, and I attend the training for missionary. So I prepare myself to be missionary for 10 years after I got called in from God. But for 10 years, I never determined where I go. And in 1992, I just finished my MD, and I finished everything in 1992. And the year 1993, I have to go somewhere to serve. In the end of 1992, the church that I serve in youth ministry, they bought a piece of land in Cambodia. After that, they found any missionary candidate to go there. So I was there, and I prayed where I go. So my wife and I realized that is the God opened the door for us. So we accepted, and we just obeyed to go there.
So back in 1993, and you were married, and you said that your wife was pregnant, and so your wife was called by God too.
Yes.
And then I wonder that what was your wife's role in Cambodia?
Yes, my wife received a calling as a missionary when she was single, and she said she doesn't want to marry, but she married me. Because we have same vision, and we went to Cambodia. She had to go through such kind of sufferings. For 8 months of pregnancy, she never go to see a doctor, and so bad. And anyway, she didn't involve much in ministry like me, but in the first part of our ministry, we just console each other that we don't need to do anything. We just survive in this situation. It is a mission. So we do our best to survive in such kind of sufferings. And my wife involved in the ministry when I established a Bible school. She was a teacher, so she teach in English, she teach music, and so her ministry is in Bible school with me in a certain time. And she mentioned that she will take care of 2 daughters well, and that is her mission. So actually, she mainly she concentrates on home ministry with her daughter.
Well, you know, Mrs. Appenzeller was pregnant when the Appenzellers landed in Korea as the first missionaries, so there's a nice tradition there. I wanted to ask about your church history you're writing. What's the purpose of your history? Are you writing for the Cambodians, or are you writing as a scholarly history? So, what you're doing now, wanted to hear about.
My main purpose to write out is to summarize what happened is chronically. Because I'm the key person who led all the joint ministry, and from the beginning, the local leaders, they were there with me. But actually, they didn't understand what was going on at the time. And I'm the best person that understands all. So I think I don't need to evaluate or doing some research. Just record chronically what has happened as a record. That's my first purpose to write down. Many documents, many papers here and there, and I didn't bring to Boston here, so I just do framework, backbone here, and then when I go back to Cambodia, maybe I have to fill in further. There's a first purpose, and second one is I want to do research some mission strategy, how emerging church, like in Cambodia, to be self-sustainable churches. I used to study about the Nevius policy, which they apply in Cambodia, in Korea, but it's very difficult to apply at the present time. So maybe we need some other mission strategy for the young and emerging churches. So even though we transfer our leadership to the local, but I want to research and set up more appropriate mission strategy for the future and work with local leaders. Yes.
You said Cambodia is majority of Hindu people? Population are Hindu?
The main religion in Cambodia was Hinduism until 12th century.
Okay. And how do you evangelize them? What's the key method do you use to evangelize them? Or the Buddhist or Hindu in Cambodia?
So right now Buddhism is a state religion, but the base was a Hinduism. And all the civilization of Cambodia is came from India, like language or religion. So Buddhism in Cambodia is not pure religion. It's a mixture with the Hinduism and traditional Chinese faith also. I envy you since you were studying about mission, mission history, mission strategy, then you go and serve. As for me, as I mentioned, that I went to mission field just right after I finished my MD. So actually I was not experienced and a well-prepared person. When there, the field was prepared already, so without thinking, I have to hurry up and collect all the harvest. So I think for last 20 years, I was very busy in doing the practical ministry and so on. So after I go back to Cambodia this coming August, I would like to form some group with local people and to refine, discover good approach, good method of evangelization to the Cambodian.
So I think, I don't know whether you understand my question. How do you evangelize? How do you attract Cambodian people to know Christ? What's the method do you use?
Mm-hmm. Okay. For the youth and children, as I shared already, for the elderly people, when we go to new village to plant the church, they came to us in terms of physical need. So there is a word in Southeast Asia called rice cushion, as you know. So many poor villagers, they came to church to get rice, medicine, and clothes. So when we go to new village and spread the gospel and evangelize to them, they accept and they come to church every Sunday for 2 months, 3 months, and they see what they can get from the pastors. If nothing, they go back their own life. So I train our pastors. We don't promise anything to give them, but they come for physical need. We welcome them, and we pray for them, and we don't give anything freely, but we try to teach them the core of the gospel to them, to understand about it. But elderly people, I think it's not easy. It's still difficult for them to accept Jesus Christ as the only Savior. There was no persecution or restrictions. They welcome us and they like to listen from us. So the more important thing is to train pastors to them to teach more detail just for the elderly people.
Thank you. Thank you.
Any more questions? Yeah.
Yeah, just briefly, what kind of resources are available, or I guess materials are available for lay leaders at the village level? Do they have hymnals, prayer books, Bibles, that kind of thing?
Yes, the whole Bible was translated already, and CNMA denomination published a hymnal, so very thick, 500 pages already. But unfortunately, many of villagers, they are illiterate. They cannot read, they cannot write their own language. So one of our program in the church is the literacy class also. There were several Christian printing houses in Phnom Penh right now, and they are printing booklet and small group material right now available at this moment. So we encourage our pastor, those who graduate from Bible school, get it and teach the children and the youth. But for the elder people, it's very difficult. So just explain, but they cannot memorize many things. So it's very slow to do that.
Yeah, one. It's like I wonder, is there like any radio station or radio like recording for like lay leaders or Christian?
Yes. FEBC. FEBC, one Cambodian lady flew to Philippines and she worked at FEBC. And when Cambodian government opened the door, she came to Cambodia and opened an FEBC station.
The radio station?
Yeah, radio station. So right now, 24 hours, there's broadcast.
You mentioned the state religion is Buddhism, and also you mentioned that Hinduism is based on their, I guess, mindset. So I think a big gap between Christians and those Cambodians. So what are some challenges when you do practice, when you do the practice of evangelism, when you evangelize people? What are some challenges?
They consider that Christianity is a foreign religion, French religion, and their own religion is Buddhism. I was so surprised that when I visit to Cambodian congregation in Lower, the percentage of Christianity among the Cambodian population in the United States, I assume that maybe 10%, maybe 20%, but it's very low, still low. So it tells how Cambodians have a strong bondage with their own religions, Buddhism. They came to United States with nothing, so maybe many Christians or churches gave help for them. With that situation, the church is very small and the percentage of Christianity is not very high. So back into Cambodia is worse than this situation. So I told you many times, for the elderly people, very difficult. They want to see the miracle. Many of us sick. They want us to be healed, or they want us to provide many materials. They want to get something from us. That is the first to approach to us. But we don't want to give them. We concentrate on the youth and children.
we're out of our formal time here, but Dr. Song is able and willing to chat with individuals or small groups about his ministry or your own ministry. Let us then thank him again for spending time with us. And I know you asked us to pray for you, but would you mind praying now for us to conclude our session?
Can I pray in Cambodian?
Yes, thank you.
Yes. អោព្រះបបិតានៃយើងខ្ញុំសូមអរគុណព្រះអង្គបានរាប់យើងជាកូនរបស់ព្រះអង្គហើយព្រះអង្គបានរៀបចំវគ្គសិក្ខាសាលាឲ្យបានល្អដើម្បីឲ្យយើងខ្ញុំស្ដាប់បេសកកម្មនៅស្រុកខ្មែរសូមអរគុណព្រះអង្គសូមព្រះអង្គប្រទានព្រះពរប្រាជ្ញាសុខភាពល្អដល់អស់អ្នកណាដែលចូលរួមនៅទីនេះដើម្បីឲ្យគេស្គាល់ផានការរបស់ព្រះអង្គដើម្បីឲ្យគេធ្វើការជាមួយព្រះអង្គបន្តដើម្បីបង្រៀនអាណាចក្ររបស់ព្រះអង្គសូមអរគុណព្រះអង្គម្ដងហើយម្ដងទៀតសូមអធិដ្ឋាននៅក្នុងព្រះនាមព្រះម្ចាស់ព្រះយេស៊ូវគ្រីស្ទអាមែន Thank you very much.